Today on Titan Sports, Titan basketball regular season is coming to an end. We have the top 5 best moments of the season. Baseball is on the road and softball opens the Judy Garman Classic. All this and much more in Titan Sports. Hello and welcome to the show that brings you the latest news, interviews, highlights, and breakdowns for all and everything Titan athletics. I'm Chelsea Carroll.
And I'm Christian Vigil. It's March, and that means the madness is on. So at our bracket at Titan Sports, the winner wins a special TS package.
All right, so March Madness, the best time of the year, minus Christmas, because let's just face it, everyone loves Christmas.
That's true.
Although we have an amazing bracket lineup for this March Madness, what do you think about the Titans going in the Big West tournament?
Well, first off, very competitive, just like the Titans are. Now, there's no clear-cut dominant team like Hawaii was last year, so I'm very excited for the Big West tournament because just about anyone can take the tournament this year.
That's absolutely right. Although the women's golf team finished the 11th place at the Bruin Wave Invitational, one Titan in particular did stand out. Senior Martina Edberg finished second, only behind Liliela View of UCLA. She golfed 8 birdies, which was tied for third most at the tournament. Edberg has a top 3 finish in every tournament of the 2016-2017 season.
The end of the regular season is quickly approaching for men's hoops team. For their final home game, they faced UC Santa Barbara. Our very own Jasmine Arenas was there at the game.
Big night at Titan Gym. It's senior night and the last game of the regular season at home. Mitch Kupchak in the house looking for a job? Probably not. Let's get right to it. Titans get off to an explosive start. Lionheart Leslie dishing the rock to Coggins for 3. Leslie dropping dimes in the night. Khalil Ahmad says, "Thank you very much. I appreciate that 3." And the hot streak continues in the first half. Coggins added again from long range. He would go on to have 14 points on 5 for 13 shooting and 4 of 11 behind the arc in the first half. Only in the first half, folks. Later, Leslie steals the rock to end it with a layup. Titans outscored the Gauchos 25-10 in the first 10 minutes. Leslie would go on to have 8 points, 6 assists, and 4 steals. But the Gauchos did not quit easily. Max Heidegger sparks the offense, takes him on a 10-2 run. And later on, Richards with a foul to grant the Gauchos 2 shots at the charity stripe. He makes both of them to cut the deficit to 4, but Titans regain momentum, and it's Austin Owusika who would drain the 3 to lead at the break 33-26. That halftime talk must have been good because the Gauchos came out aggressive, outscoring Fullerton 13-8 in the first 5 minutes. Kyle Allman says not so fast and dunks on him, but Santa Barbara doesn't give up. Clifton Powell behind the arc to make it a 4-point game. He would go on to have 14 points for the night. But later in the second, Trey Coggins, 3 seconds left of the shot clock, gets his opponent to bite on the fake, freezes himself, and drains the 3. Coggins led all scorers with 20 points. Titans never looked back after that as they beat Santa Barbara 65-54 with a season-low 8 turnovers as they swept the series versus the Gauchos for the first time since 2009. Coach and Lionheart Leslie had this to say about the game.
I mean, the guy to my left, he got us going early. He had 6 assists and no turnovers. And when we play that way, particularly when he plays that way, our turnovers are going to be low. And tonight was indicative of the way we can take care of the basketball. Is that right? We only had 8? Y'all screwed that up? If we can play that way with consistency, I like our chances to find success.
You know, last home game, I'm just going to give it my all, just like the rest of the games.
Well, the Titans ended senior night on the right note. Coach Dietrich Taylor expressed in the press conference his gratitude towards his senior players, especially Trey Coggins, who had 20 points for the night, and Lionheart Leslie, who helped minimize the turnovers to only 8 tonight versus UC Santa Barbara. Now the Titans go on to face the Matadors at CSUN on March 4th to end the regular season, and then move on to the Big West tournament. For Titan Sports, I'm Jasmine Arenas. Back to you guys in the studio.
The men's basketball team will travel to CSUN on Saturday, March 4th to end their regular season.
Women's basketball regular season ends on March 4th at Bren Event Center versus UCI. Though a tough season, the team did have formidable players on the squad such as Jade Vega, Iman Lathan, and Deja Smith. Just to name a few, the team had multiple players reach double figures. With the regular season coming to an end, we have the best 5 moments of Titan basketball.
All right, for the top plays for both men and women, starting off with number 5.
What a season it was.
Iman Lathan turning defense into offense. makes the layup there. Jasmine, what do you think of that?
Iman is on a roll. At number 4, Jade Vega. You can't mess with her. Look, she's tricking the defender, makes the 3.
That's called making her dance. Now for number 3, we're going to the men's side. Kyle Ullman Jr. in transition, showing off the athleticism, hammers it.
He gets the and 1 after that, of course.
And we're going to look at it again. So nice, we're going to have to see it twice.
He's so smooth, it gets it right in the basket.
Clearly gets hit on the right arm. Now, for number 2, take it over.
Trey to Kyle Ullman Jr. And he's going to show why he should have got the Big West Conference honorable mention. You can see why he was upset, right? Look at that play.
Yeah, and what's good to note about this is that they were coming off their huge win against Long Beach. But now, for the next play, we're going to let the sound take over on this one. You know this had to be the number 1 play of the season. Just look at that beautiful execution. Khalil Ahmad, explain yourself, buddy.
To be honest, beginning of the year, we did a little photo shoot thing where we practiced all that kind of stuff, so it kind of put into play there. So I'm glad it worked out.
Me too. Seriously. It's no secret that I'm growing a stadium up here, and that added at least 2 full rows to my stadium up top.
Chelsea, I've mentioned earlier in the show that the CSUF men's basketball team has pretty much been competitive this year, and they can pretty much take the Big West tournament. Now, seniors will be graduating, Terry Coggins, Lionheart Leslie. It's going to be a shame, but I mean, when you take a look at what they've done, it's just truly outstanding to see what this program has done this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that they've already been headed into the right direction. Losing the seniors is definitely going to be a huge impact for the men's basketball team. But they have won 7 out of 8 of their conference teams. So if they win CSUN, this means they beat every single conference team at least once. So it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, and I can't remember the last time they've ever done that. But speaking of which, we're going to send it off to Jasmine Arenas, who's with our analyst, to discuss more about this team.
Welcome to today's roundtable. I'm Jasmine Arenas, and alongside me are Titan Sports analysts Jason Garreline, Ross Madison, and Nathan McHugh. Guys, welcome to the roundtable discussion. Number 1 question on the table right now. Men's basketball season is coming to an end, and so is women's basketball. But in the postseason, men's basketball could have a promising tournament. What do you guys think about the Big West tournament? What are your predictions?
For the Big West tournament, I think that Fullerton has to just worry about themselves right now, cut down on the turnovers, continue playing that defense that we saw against UCI and Long Beach. It's going to be a tough tournament because, they haven't won at Honda Center before, but, I mean, this is the year it could change.
Ross.
I think they're going to win the Big West Conference tournament. It's because they've been competitive with all the teams so far. They just had a couple wins at UC Davis and against UC Irvine. I think that's going to carry them to the top.
This is big. He says Fullerton is going to win the Big West tournament. And if they do, that means NCAA regionals. And gosh, March Madness is the month of madness. Let's go, Nathan.
Yes, I certainly think they do have the potential to win the Big West tournament. When they play at their best, they can beat any team in the Big West. But when they play, at their worst, they can lose to any team. So consistency is a big thing. If they can put together 3 really good games in a row, they could be holding the trophy at the end of the tournament.
That would be big for Cal State Fullerton, especially under Coach Dedrick Taylor, who has had a rough 3 seasons in the past. So, Jason, did you have something to add?
With Dedrick Taylor, it's been kind of rough ever since, we're far from the 2011-2012 season where the Titans went 12-4. And Taylor's finally found his rhythm. I think he's found this group of players, a lot of young players too, like with Ahmed and Allman and Awisaka, and also Rowe, of course. But I mean, it brings a bright future for the Titans, and we should probably see Taylor in the future.
Definitely. Moving on to baseball. The season has started, and the bats are hot. But what are your thoughts on the season so far?
They've won both of their series. The only time they've won a series was that one game against San Diego. They lost. They're gonna progress. They're gonna start to learn more about their team, different lineups, and as conference play comes around, will be very competitive, they should be ready.
You know, when I talked to Coach about the season before it started, he said, this year I'm just trying to make sure that the team has fun. It's not their job yet to win games. It's college. Ross.
The baseball record is 4-3 right now. I think they're just trying to figure things out, but they had that winning tradition on their side, so I think it's going to go on their way to probably winning it all in Omaha.
Definitely. In Omaha.
Yeah.
Look,
It's
Ross
on their
is
mind,
just
so-
giving them the winning team to every team.
Baseball, yep.
Yes, let's go. Nathan.
Yeah, they won the first 2 games against Stanford, then had a big lead that they let get away. Otherwise, it would have been a sweep to start the
The
year.
Sunday game.
Yes, they lost in extra innings, so they're 4-3, and I think they're going to start to play better because they start to, once they get more into the season, they'll start to get a better rhythm overall.
Definitely, and that always usually happens. And talking about finding their rhythm, softball has had a rough start. Why do you guys think they've had such a tough start to begin with?
Just with softball, they're just trying to find themselves a little bit. I mean, like I said with baseball, different lineups, trying different people. Maybe the team's looking younger this year, but they are projected to be #1 in the conference, and when conference play comes around, they're going to look polished.
Ross.
I think the expectations are way too high for the team. They got to their heads. They're just kids, student athletes, so I think they just need to find themselves, get in their comfort zone, and then once they get in their comfort zone, everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, it'll take a couple series for them to find that. But the Judy Garman Classic is coming up. Nathan?
Yeah, they are, expected to win the Big West Conference, and with being such a young team, losing 8 key seniors, it's hard to replace those seniors. So that once the young players start to understand the culture of the team, they'll get on a good winning roll.
Yeah, and I agree. And they do have a baseball player on their team, Kelsey Whitmore. So, I mean, that helps. Hey, I have a question for you, Jason.
Okay.
Describe the students section at Titan Gym for me in one phrase, one word, anything. Go for it.
Silent. There's not much noise. I mean, I'm not asking the Titan fans to be like the camera crazies or even anything compared to like Poly Pavilion, but it'd be nice to just see people stand up for their team and be knowledgeable about this team. This is the best Titan basketball team that any of us have seen in our 4 years, whether you're a freshman, a super senior. You gotta come out, support. So that's all I gotta say about the Titan Gym, or the Stampede, I should say.
So if you're sitting at the student section, why not cheer for your team, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Well, before we go, I do want to ask one last question. Describe the women and men's basketball team in one word. I mean, season in one word.
So for both of them, I would say perseverance. You have
Nice.
the Titans who were trying to prove themselves that they're good, and with the women's team, they've fought every single game, even if the outcome hasn't been best for them.
I
Ross.
feel the best word to describe the men's team is exciting because of all the top 10 plays. Jackson Rose, a show. For the women's team, disappointing. They should have been winning their games. Deja Smith getting double-doubles, but it's not speaking for itself because they lose, so disappointing.
Nathan.
I'd say for the men team, confident. 'Cause
Okay,
now
nice. That's a good word.
They've been able to play to their potential a lot more this year than last year. And for the women's team, I'd say trying. It's been a difficult season, but they've stuck with it, and hopefully soon they can start to turn it around.
So overall, both teams have tried this season and have made strides. All right, guys, well, that does it for our roundtable discussion. Thanks for participating, you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And back to you, Chelsea and Christian.
The 36th annual Judy Garman Classic is once again set to be hosted by Cal State Fullerton. The tournament will take place from March 2nd through the 5th and feature some of the top talent from across the country. Each day of the tournament will feature at least 7 games, including 10 games on Friday and Saturday. As for the Titan softball team, they are coming off a 1-3 showing at Mary Netter Classic, with a lone victory coming in grand fashion as starter Kelsey Kessler threw a 2-hit shutout against number 17 Utah to lead the Titans to a 1-0 victory. Earlier that week, Fullerton swept its doubleheader against CSU Bakersfield with 2 road wins and Houston at Anderson Family Field. A note thanks to a couple of home runs from Emily Randall and Lexi Gonzalez.
On the last episode of Titan Sports, the women's tennis team was undefeated and had their best start to a regular season in the program's history. Fast forward to this episode, and not much has changed, just only the number in the win column. Women's tennis continue to break records as they have won 9 straight after defeating Eastern Michigan 6-1, which is their longest win streak in Titan tennis history. With players like Camila de Leon and Alexis Venezuela leading this squad with their fantastic individual play, it seems like the sky's the limit this season. If you want another statistic on their record-breaking season, the Titans have yet to lose the doubles points in 2017. Well, with basketball coming to an end and baseball and softball only getting their season started, here's Melina Joseph with your Titan Timeline.
Thanks, guys. Melina Joseph here, and I'm going to be your weather girl for today. Only kidding. But as you may have noticed from our last show, we are switching things up this season. Are you excited? I'm excited. Okay, now let's get down to business to defeat, not the Huns, but Arizona State. Titan Baseball will compete at Arizona State on Tuesday, March 7th at 5:30 p.m. and on Wednesday, March 8th at 5:30 p.m. Then they will travel back home to play against Gonzaga 3 days in a row. One on Friday, March 10th at 7 p.m., Saturday, March 11th at 6 p.m., and Sunday, March 12th at 1 p.m. Continuing their full schedule, Titan Baseball will play against San Jose State at home on Tuesday, March 14th, and the following day, Wednesday, March 15th, they will compete against Arizona at 6 p.m. As for women's softball, a match against San Diego State will start off the Long Beach State/Fullerton tournament on Thursday, March 9th at 6 p.m. On Friday, March 10th, Titan softball has a doubleheader at home. Their first matchup will be against Boston University at 4:30 p.m., followed by Harvard at 7 p.m. Ending the tournament with another doubleheader at home, the Lady Titans will kick off with Longwood at 3 p.m., followed by Boston University at 5:30 p.m. Lastly, the team will travel to San Diego on Wednesday, March 15th at 5 p.m. to compete against the Toreros. Moving on to golf, the men's golf team will compete in an all-day Sacramento State Invitational Tournament at Elk Grove, California Valley High Country Club on Monday, March 6th and Tuesday, March 7th. In the next week, they'll travel to Sienna Golf Club in Las Vegas to compete in the Jack Rabbit Invitational, another all-day event, on Friday, March 10th and Saturday, March 11th. As for women's golf, they will be competing against the Fresno State Classic at the San Joaquin Country Club in Fresno on Monday, March 13th and Tuesday, March 14th. Now on to the next sport. Women's tennis will compete against Long Beach State at home on Friday, March 10th at 1:30 p.m., followed by a matchup against UTEP at home on Sunday, March 12th at 11 a.m. Last but not least, basketball. For the women's side, they will have finished up their regular season at Irvine, but at the time of this recording, it is still anyone's spot to take the 8th seed in the Big West tournament. As for the men's team, they have already clinched a spot and will be competing in the tournament starting on Thursday, March 9th, and the rest of the tournament will conclude on Saturday, March 11th. The game time for their matchup will be determined once the season ends. Well, that's it for your Titan Timeline. I'm Melina Joseph. Back to you guys.
And remember all of our social media outlets. You can catch our entire video highlight library on our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/TitanSportsRecap. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @CSUFTitanSports. Be sure to check out our game highlights and our poll questions to give us your opinions. Find us on Facebook for updates all on Fullerton Athletics. Check us out on Instagram and Snapchat for behind-the-scenes photos and videos. Follow us at CSUF Titan Sports.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Titan Sports. I'm Christian Vigil.
And I'm Chelsea Carroll.
Keep those tusks up, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.